Hello and welcome or welcome back. I'm Bo.
And I'm Win.
And this is a little chit chat about getting a month ahead. In case you didn't know, Win is currently a substitute teacher.
Yep.
And that means he does not get paid during the summer.
Problem.
Yes. So he needs to find a job every summer. And also he doesn't get paid time off. So if he misses any days due to being sick or anything like that, his check will be shorter. It will be smaller. And we've had a lot of problems with varying paychecks. So what we want to do is get a month ahead so that we actually know what numbers we're working with. But let's start with going through what part of what the problem was with the way we used to do it.
So typically when we do our zero-based budgeting, when we do our paycheck budgeting, we start by taking a look at the bare bones that we need for each paycheck period. And then when the paycheck actually comes along, we write down how much it actually was, and we go from there. But this means that there's a certain amount of guesswork involved, and we are trying to move toward a version of budgeting that doesn't rely so much on guesswork.
Yes. So you see how far off this budget is. So the budget is for, almost $700 less than what his paycheck actually was. But that's basically all that we could do because he couldn't see his paychecks in advance in the HR software. It requires like 3 different logins. It's ridiculous.
It was a lot.
Yeah. And then I have been splitting up my paychecks so that I could align my checks with him because I get paid the week after he gets paid. So it was making things very complicated, and it was making it so that the numbers didn't match every paycheck. Like my numbers are $200 off. His number is almost $700 off. So that's the problem, right? And also the fact that the school year ends June 7th, right? June 6th, June 7th?
The students stopped going to class June 6th.
Okay. So the students stopped going June 6th, right? So he is going to be starting a new job after that. However, there's going to be a change, right? He doesn't know how much he's going to get paid. He doesn't know in advance like how much his checks are actually going to be after taxes and everything are taken out. So how are we supposed to budget for the month of June, not knowing like even in the ballpark what he's going to be getting paid?
Enter the new reality-based budgeting system.
Yes. So we decided that getting a month ahead when we're having this many questions about income, it might benefit us. So we did a little pro and con sheets here, little index cards. Not fancy by any means, but you do what you can with what you got, as our dear friend Amanda likes to say.
And we got index cards.
Yes, colored index cards.
And gumption.
Yes. So pros of being a month ahead. Budget before payday with actual dollars. So once we're a full month ahead, we can actually budget the whole month and have the numbers be accurate. Again, accurate monthly budgets. So we'll have the real numbers and won't
less guesswork.
Yes.
With the real numbers in hand, any plans that we make will be based off more clear information.
Yes. We also would avoid the risk of overdrawing accounts. So with budgeting on paper, sometimes, the numbers, what if you miss something,
Yeah.
Or what if you don't transfer the money from your savings to your checking fast enough and something comes out? But if you're a month ahead, that's not a problem. You're not going to overdraw your account by any means.
And speaking of operating within reality, one of the realities that we've come to terms with is that if we're trying to do this while the kids are home, it doesn't really happen. Not really. We have to scrap it most of the time and just do it another time anyway. This way, we're so far ahead that we have time to plan for if the schedule doesn't work the way we expect it to.
Yes, we can do the budget. We can come up with the budget when the kids aren't home. Makes things a lot easier for us. I don't know if everyone with kids has this problem, but yeah, kids, they like attention like all the time, and they like talking all the time.
And they have these questions. I don't know if you guys are having that problem.
Yeah, they ask a lot of questions. So then we have the cons of being 1 month ahead. First of all, it is technically harder to track because we're going to have to like roll money over until we get to the full paycheck and then like put it in the future. But we're going to have to remember to do that. So our bank transactions won't actually match what our budget is going to look like because we'll be behind or ahead. We'll be behind our transactions, but ahead in the budget, if that makes sense. But also, that's less wiggle room in the budget because if we're budgeting real numbers, then we won't have like $600 to move around if we need to. Like if something changes, for example, the kids' copays started coming out every week instead of once a month, and the number went up dramatically. So with less wiggle room, we might not be able to roll with the punches with that. We'd have to take from something else in order to meet those requirements. Which leads us to, this will make us more likely to use our emergency fund. Because if something happens, like when Wynn had to get the root canal, yes, I did use my emergency fund for that. I didn't use wiggle room because it was too much. But if it's something with the kids, that's something that Wynn would be responsible for. So he would end up probably using his emergency fund because he won't have any wiggle room in his budget. Like he normally has like, hundreds of dollars of wiggle room, but that won't exist anymore. And also that leads to temptation to spend the rollover. Because as we're rolling money over to get a month ahead, it'll look like we have extra money in the budget when it's not money that can or should be spent just now. We gotta have some delayed gratification, which is hard.
Honestly, the fact that we have been able to budget and keep track of things the way we have, just the act of budgeting creates discipline. This will be easier now that we've been budgeting for a while. It'll be easier for me now that I've been more involved with the budget, but it's still a temptation. It's a new amount. It's a change in how we look at it. So we're just trying to anticipate that temptation.
Yes. And now that we have discussed the pros and the cons of getting a month ahead,
it's time for the reality of how it actually works.
Yes.
The nuts and bolts.
Yes. So this is the bare bones guide that I made for May, which was a magic month. So we had 3 paychecks in this month, which is great. But the further out you get, the less accurate it is. So, like, some things changed. For instance, this was written before we knew that the kids' copays would be...
almost double.
Yeah, almost double, and also every week instead of once a month. So, that's a significant change. So what we're doing this paycheck is we're delaying his actual paycheck. We're delaying this, $13.48, really however much it ends up being. We're delaying that to May 31st. So that will be our first paycheck of June because it will cover the 1st of June. And we're rolling over $15.38 from last paycheck. So that will cover everything here. Plus we'll have some rollover.
By the way, not just in this video, but if any of this is ever unclear, please don't hesitate to ask any questions you may have in the comments. And we're happy to take a look.
Yes. So while this is more than what we'd previously budgeted, this amount of rollover is more than we budgeted for with the bare bones budget. we did not include the kid bill, the co-pays that are every week. And also the heating bill is not going to come out till the 22nd. So we had originally budgeted that for last paycheck, but it's going to come out this paycheck. So like things had to be shifted around a little bit. But realistically, with the amount we have currently available to roll over, if we use real numbers for the heating bill and the electric bill, we can cover that. And then this won't hurt any of his progress. And whatever he gets paid on the 17th, I believe it's the 17th. Yeah, the 17th, that will be his paycheck for May 31st. And then his May 31st paycheck will be moved to the middle of June. And then his first paycheck from his new job will be, question mark, will be moved, 2 weeks back. But we're still going to be rolling money over because we want to get a full month ahead, not just one paycheck ahead. But this is kind of how that works. So we're just rolling over until we get to the point where we can cover a whole budget with the amount that's rolled over. And then we're going to do the same thing with the next paycheck. But then for me, for my side, I'm really only delaying my paycheck by one more week because I had been like cutting my paychecks in half to align with his. So I just need to spend the half of the paycheck that I already had, but I'm going to limit myself to that instead of using my whole estimate. So I'm just cutting down my savings and then cutting down some of my variable spending, so that I can put that whole paycheck on the 31st. So then my paychecks will align with his, and also, I'll be ahead of the game. And I'm probably just going to do this again, like a couple more times, because I want to be a month ahead as well. I think it would make things a lot easier. We could actually project instead of like by the time we get this whole month paycheck reviewed, the numbers won't look anything like the original budget.
Correct.
The original monthly budget. It won't look anything like it. It's going to be way off because we've had like multiple big changes. Speaking of big changes, the rent is going up on the 1st.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Our rent, we got informed, right, that our rent is going up from $12.25 up to $13.50. Yeah, so it's going up $125, and that is significant.
It's not nothing.
Yeah, for us anyway. That's significant because that is like more than what we normally budgeted for one of his paychecks. So if he had to cover that, we would have to roll money over anyway in order to cover that and the other bills that are due that same paycheck. Like there's literally no way that you could add all that up and still like cover everything.
The math would not math.
Yeah, the math would not math. So he's gonna have to be rolling over money anyway to cover that. So I figured we may as well be ahead, and then like the rent like won't hurt so bad.
Right.
Because it won't be like a whole paycheck.
Now, in terms of logistics, I managed to set it up so that the new job starts the same date that the current job ends. The orientation is on the same day as the last day. No kids at school, so that's fine. So that should limit the gap between one job paying and the other job paying. But that's still a question mark. So we still have to set this stuff up with the rollover to make sure that things move as smoothly in the transition as possible.
Yes, because we don't want to miss rent.
No, we can't miss rent.
No.
That said, budgeting, the zero-based budgeting and the paycheck budgeting, and now soon, reality-based budgeting. Am I coining that term?
Oh my
goodness. If no one has, you heard it here first, folks. And budget beats broke every time.
Yep. Never forget that you deserve financial stability. And I hope you have a great day on purpose. Bye.